Eric.
Morning, Mr. K.
Okay, so today our topic is about life and then live our life as an experiment. You can think this is something like a quote.
Mm.
Yep. And yeah, I believe that you have seen the link beside the topic,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, so firstly, we can talk about your feeling or maybe your thoughts after reading the article. Yep. For me, after reading the article, yeah, I found that this guy really did something to try, and then uh, also there are a lot of mental costs inside, and then he did it, and then just want to see whether something work. Yeah. So for that particular event, yeah, which is like returning something and then to avoid the cost. Yeah, I don't want to say that this is something like a good thing. Yeah, but what I see is the attitude to live life as an experiment. Yeah, the attitude here, and yeah, also there are a few things which I like in the article, which is like uh, we're more willing to take risk. Yeah, this is the first one. Second is to kind of like discover and then to accept failure. And the third one is to learn and to grow, to improve. Yeah. So this is what I get from this article.
Mm.
Yeah. So how about you? Any uh, feeling or thoughts about the article?
Okay, actually, I have two part of thoughts. The first one
Mm,
is the the topic live like as experiment,
mm.
and then the second, I want to talk about the technique the author mentions in the article.
Oh, okay.
Mm. Yeah, and okay for our topic, yeah, I
Mm,
think it's a very um, good way to live your life. Yeah, think your life is an experiment, and also think your life is like a game.
mm,
Yeah, and this is also something I mentioned in the past.
mm,
And when you treat your life like the game, and you can kind of like do better. Mm. So I
mm,
think they are quite similar.
mm. Yep. So for this part, would you like to discuss more, which is like treat our life as a game, and then what actually make our life better. For this also, actually, after reading this article, one terms also comes into my mind, which is gamification.
Yeah.
And I remember we had a topic before, which is about like I forgot the complete terms, which is something like Super Mario
Mm.
uh,
Yeah, Super Mario effect.
effects. Yeah, yeah. So treating our life like a game, what do you think is the factor that maybe make us more successful?
I think first thing is you don't take it too serious.
Mm,
When you take something too serious, your emotions will affect your decisions, will affect your judgment. For
mm,
example, you keep wanting to success, and then you're not going to success because you're too focused on the success. What you should focus on what you are doing, the process. Just like we learned in the Atomic Habit,
mm,
we have a goal, we have the process, but we shouldn't focus on our goal. But it doesn't mean that we shouldn't have a goal. We should have goal, but we
mm,
shouldn't focus on the goal. We should focus on the process.
mm. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, this is well said. And also in the article, uh, what the author do is also something like this, right? If you think about the goal, which is like to avoid the cost, If he set this as a goal he want to achieve, and then maybe that is very discouraging, right? Like you can get you can avoid the cost. Yeah, how difficult it is because uh, this is the policy, black and white there. And but he focused on the process, right? Trying to find any ways to try, and he know he might fail, but doesn't matter, something like that.
Yeah. If he
Mm.
fail, he find another method,
Mm.
or he try to improve his methods.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, maybe try next time if he really want to find out something.
And also, no methods, no models allows 100% certainty success.
Mm.
Mm.
Yep. Yeah, so for this one, are you referring to like uh, something we need to do, maybe try many times so that we can achieve it?
Mm. It depends on your purpose. But
Mm.
first, if you want to validate whether this is a good method, you need to
Mm.
try quite a lot of time to see the probability rate, probability
Mm.
of success.
Yep.
Yeah, so that you can have kind of, I mean, you need to have the probability thinking. You
Mm.
cannot try once and then, oh, it failed, I try another. And
Mm.
another method work, okay, next time I try, I keep using the method. After sometimes it failed again. And then,
Mm.
oh, you try another method. So you keep switching.
Mm. Yep. So I get a key, also a key point here, which is probability. Uh, yeah, we need to know about probability, and beside the point that you said just now, which is like, if something we succeed to do it, but it doesn't mean that it will succeed in every other trial in the future, right? We need to find out whether this is something like a cause and effect, or maybe a correlation is high, something like that, right?
Yeah, so
Mm.
there are two implications here. First,
Mm.
risk management.
Yep. Actually, this is also what I write down, and then I think this is related. Okay.
Yeah, and the second, mm, yeah, the second is just try and error. So
Mm.
just try.
Mm.
And
Yep. So go back to risk management. So for here, it actually means that we actually did contribute something when we do trial and errors. For example, times, uh, your money, your maybe opportunity cost, right? When we want to do something. So when the probability isn't that high, and the things that you get, maybe the returns isn't very much. So which uh, may may give a something like an implication that this thing shouldn't be done, right? We need to look at the probability, the return, something like that.
and also you need to look at the opportunity cost. For
Mm.
example, yeah, you return the product,
Yeah.
and then you can save 20% of the full price.
Mm.
So, but how much would you make from that move? $1, $2, $10, $100, $1,000. But
Mm.
even $1,000, so what? This is just one times event.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm. Yeah. And also
And
maybe you look at some costs. Maybe next time you become a blacklist, you're on the blacklist, maybe you cannot get that service anymore, right? Some
yeah,
cost.
and this is one of my pushback on those methods.
Mm.
It may work once or twice, but it is not going to work every time.
Mm.
And you are not you are you are able to get the exemptions for the first or two times. Yeah, because they know you are using this kind of trick, trying to amplify their empathy and then to get your benefits, and people hate it. Mm.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that it's not a good method. It's a good method, better than others. But you are not going to work every time because inherently it's your fault, right?
Yeah. All right. So yeah. So actually, I write down quite a few of terms, and then we came across a lot already, which is I repeat, gamification, uh, risk management, probability, trial and error, opportunity cost, and then yeah, there are still two in my list. Yeah, shall we go to the next? Okay, so I think also with this attitude, which is live life as an experiment, it will also relate to taking action. Yeah, for this one, yeah, I think it's also something like an attitude towards life, which is you try it, you take action. Of course, it related to yeah something like the opportunity cost, uh, trial and errors, yeah, and then a lot of mental cost maybe in the process. Yep. So this is taking action, and the last one in my list is reflection. Yeah, because I think yeah, an experiment sometime we did because we want to discover something, and sometimes we did uh, just want to ensure or reassure something is still correct, still valid, right? Maybe somebody else have done this before. Maybe you need to do it again to test whether this is effective to you. So I think reflection is something like that. Maybe you have been using a particular ways of doing things, then maybe you want to test it, and then or maybe you want to discover something, then you may need more try and errors. Maybe uh, you try some other ways and then to compare whether it is better or worse than the ways that you're doing, something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. When you talk about to kind of like validate an ideas come from others, it reminds me something, which is the blockchain and Bitcoin specifically. There's codes which is don't trust, verified.
Mm. Yeah. 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 This is also like an attitude, right? Yeah. And then actually why I come up with this topic is because yesterday's topic, the it's to be disease, and I found that many things we need to try, and uh, something also related to personal differences, which is like every every person is different, and then you have your life, you have your uh, different things. So something you need to try to see whether it is effective to you. Yep.
Yeah, and so coincidence and because yeah, just now before the conversation, I watched one of the my YouTube, and this is the Sean Baker, and the Sean Baker share one of the new studies, and the new study is about the title is meat eating. Let me check. Meat eating extends human life expectancies worldwide, and this is a new research done by I think it's Australia. Yeah, in Australia, and yeah, it's a really new study because yeah, 22 of February 2022.
Oh,
Yeah,
just released.
yeah, and also yeah, one quick thing is I found that this day is quite um, many people choose to publish or choose to post something, choose to release something on this day. because it's a beautiful number.
Mm.
22
Yeah.
of February 2022.
Yeah.
And
Many people get married
and
also on this day.
and Tuesday.
Oh yeah.
Mm, yeah. And this, of course, this is an observational study, and it kind of like study 127 or 170, 170 plus countries
Mm.
around the world. They
Yeah.
examines the overall health effect of total meat consumption in 170 plus countries around the world.
Mm.
And then I I read some of the sentence here. Quote, the researchers found that the consumption of energy from carbohydrate crops, for example, grains
Mm.
and tubers, does not lead to greater life expectancies, and that total meat consumption correlates to greater life expectancy, independent of the competing effects of total calories intake, economic affluence, urban advantages, and obesity. Yeah,
Mm.
and yeah, this is one of the another side of the study, and this in this study from their result, it is like the vegan diet and also the vegetarian diet didn't actually contribute to the longevity based on their research
Mm.
in 170 countries. But meat consumption, they look at they look at around the country. Then from the data, those people who has higher meat consumption and then they
Yeah.
live longer. Mm. So yeah, first option observation study. Second, maybe they got their bias. Not many researchers willing to do this kind of study. Of course, I appreciate. Yeah. Mm.
Mm.
And yeah, and also the third, it may be too technical for like us normal people to really look into the detail.
Mm.
And fourth, it may link to some other effect. For example, like if you can eat meat, if you can afford to eat meat,
Yeah.
and that means you are not extremely poor. And also, does it mean that maybe you experience less chronic stress, and also you have higher social participation rate? But of course, you also can look at the vegans. There are people who are able to eat vegan, to
Mm.
adopt vegan diet. They also, yeah, their pocket need to have some money because vegan diet is not cheap.
Mm.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
think there are many variables here. Yeah, but linked to our today's topic, experiments. Mm.
Mm.
So yeah. Mm.
Yep. So is it something like you see something and then maybe in your mind you have some belief and then you try to involve in it, taking action. At the same time, you need to do more research to increase your knowledge in it, to
Mm.
find some maybe supporting things to support it, maybe scientific uh, support to that,
Mm.
to your belief, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
And from this topic, you can look at one of the very first principle, why which is the human action, why human act, why humans behave in a certain way, why human do something.
Mm.
Yeah, this is a question.
Yeah, why human do something?
Why don't you just sit down and lie down and stay cool, do nothing?
Um, could I say that is desire and survival? These two
Mm.
things.
Yeah.
First you
And
need to
how?
survive.
Mm,
So you do
yeah.
something.
Then
Then,
why?
mm,
Go ahead.
oh, then maybe you have your desire. You want to achieve something. You want to get something. So you also do something.
Mm, yeah. So what you want to get? Better health?
Yeah,
Mm,
included.
yeah. So you want to get better health. And how do you know what is the better health? Do you
Mm,
have any health problem? Do you have any health issue? What if you got the diabetes?
mm,
What if you already got the diabetes? What if you're obese and you have tried a lot of weight? You have tried vegans. You have
mm,
tried you eat normal diet previously
mm,
and you eat vegans. Yeah, yesterday I just like kind of like I think it's from you. It's a YouTube video, but this girl is not girl already. This is like I think she is like 40 years plus already and got like 2 or 3 kids. And but she looked like 20 plus years. And she cut 120 pounds after kind of diet. 120 pounds, which means 60 kg.
mm.
Yeah.
Well,
And yeah,
that
and
is
I
my
think
weight.
I, I think I think she reposted something. She reposted something on YouTube from the Instagram because I think I watched the similar inform I yeah I have watched a similar information from her Instagram previously,
Mm,
but maybe he's not repost. He recreate the video
mm,
and then yeah. So this is her story, and he tried vegan before.
mm,
He he got periods only eat bread. Mm.
mm,
And also he so she I remember she has one problem. She say she kind of like the menstrual, is it called the menstruation periods? I forget how you pronounce, but for 2 years she she
oh,
she don't have the period for 2 years.
mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
and she has a lot of problem. And after starting the kind of diet, and this is one of doctor, and this is her kind of I'm not sure is her family doctor or maybe some other doctor
Mm,
recommend her to cut all the carbs and eat only meat.
yeah.
Yeah, and she after that she don't have any craving on the junk food on other sugar.
Mm,
Mm. And why she make this video is because in her other video some people comment to below, which is it's so sad that you can only eat meat. So then she make another review, which is this review
mm,
to respond this. Why is that? Yeah. Mm. And she's a teacher. I think it's a primary teacher or kindergarten teacher.
mm.
And once she bring the kids go to, is it called a roller roster? I forget this. This is in Chinese it's called like the 过山车.
Oh, roller coaster.
And
Mm,
yeah, so it's a roller coaster, and she couldn't go on to experience with the kids.
oh, overweight.
And yeah, overweight. She couldn't fit herself into the seat, and she can only watch their kids yeah play the facility,
Yeah.
and she feels so sad.
Mm,
Mm. So yeah, she has her own story. But one thing I want to mention here is if you have if you have a health problem, if you have health issue, then
mm,
you have the incentive to try, right, to experience.
yeah.
But if you don't have so much health issue, and of course you think your current way of dieting is healthy. So
Mm.
you have less incentive to try.
Yeah.
And for me, what's a catalyst? Yeah, what's a catalyst for me to try? I think I mentioned in the carnivore diet conversation, which is
Yeah.
my
Back
girlfriend
pain.
mother. He got the diabetes, and
Mm.
but she got diabetes for a long time, but it becomes more serious and serious. And I asked my girlfriend
Mm.
what you eat and what your family eats in the past,
Yeah.
and she tell me it's so normal, so normal. Yeah,
Mm.
and it's very healthy.
Mm.
Yeah, but just get diabetes, and her mother didn't eat out. Yeah, didn't eat out,
Mm.
and if she did, not often, because her her she live in like the rural area, and
Mm.
also there's no much restaurant outside, and also she's not her family is not very rich.
Mm.
Yeah, they don't really have the money, the budget to eat outside often.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
How about family history? Maybe some inherited diseases from
maybe, but
previous generation.
this is not Taiwan diabetes.
Oh.
Yeah, but this is not type 1, right? It's a type 2.
Mm.
Yeah, it's after you're born and after so many decades, and then you got the diabetes. And I asked for weight. It's not bad, not very very bad.
Mm.
Yeah, but I see from the picture, the it means the body fat is quite high. So the body composition ratio, which is your muscle compared to your body fat ratio,
Mm.
yeah, is not good.
Mm.
Yeah. So even though it's not obese, but actually technically it's obese. It's kind of like skinny obese. There's
Mm.
really there's a technical term which is called skinny obesity, something like that. And so if you've got all these problems, and also for me, it's like catalyst because I can feel that. Yeah, I can see there are more and more health issue comes to me,
Mm.
and it seems like it's not going to be solved. So should I try? Should I experience?
Yeah.
So I mean, should I do the experiments? And then I did. Yeah, because it's not a big deal. Mm. And what made me really really uh make a try? Yeah, which is after watching the Peterson's video.
Mm.
Yeah, it increased my belief and let me try. But the catalyst is the diabetes, and also I read some article, read some book, receive some new information. But if there's no the catalyst, maybe it's just in my mind. I just want to further research.
Mm.
And the first time I know this, I learned this, I just think this is disinformation. This is uh, yeah, this is wrong information.
Mm.
It shouldn't be like that. Yeah, we are taught that eating vegetable and eat less animal foods is good for our bodies.
Yeah.
Mm. So yeah, it's also an experiment.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Just now.
also, yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah.
You
I
go
just
ahead.
want to highlight the one important things I think in your sharing, which is the incentive, and then I can think of the fear of losing something. Yeah. If
Mm.
you put that on me, which is like if you ask me to try carnivore diet, yeah, I think because like we say, because I have no some
Really? How about your eyes?
yeah, but that not really that serious, or maybe I afraid if I did that, maybe it get worse, something like that.
Really? Don't
Yeah,
you
I don't know.
think? Don't you think it will only get more serious after few years? You see, this health issue is not started after you do carnivore diet and you have never tried carnivore diet or ketogenic diet or even do a deep fasting.
Yeah.
So your body is not adaptive to the ketones, and your body always use the blood glucose to make the energy. So yeah, so how can you came out a conclusion that after switching the diet, it will get worse? This is just, if you're not sure, it's just 50-50. Yeah, and so what make you have the confidence to believe that after switching the diet, the problem will get worse? What information you have have studied in order to form this kind of conclusion? And if not, whether it is just a bias, worst scenario thinking.
Yeah, this is a bias, and then also like risk averse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, of course, many people, including me, will also think that, yeah, what if I switch? My problem exists, my problem still exists, or even get worse, and I have new other problem. Then I just switch back. Not a big deal, you know. Just 1 month, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Just like for example, you smoke a cigarette once, it's not going to kill you. It's not going to reduce your life expectancy for very, very long periods.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So this is something you can come back. And really, and in the modern life, really not many of the issue, or not many of the mistake cannot be recovered. It's not recovered. It's one of the, I think it's called the principle in Amazon, spread around the staff. And also I think I learned it from the ex-CEO, the Jeff Bezos. And he said that in his company there's some principle which is Amazon encourage the staff try and make mistake, because they believe most of mistake can be recovered. I mean the consequences, the consequences can be recovered, or can be like kind of like improve the situation. There's really not many things can cause you failure, total failure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So wouldn't it also a mindset of experiments? Yeah, and also another example, like Bitcoin or crypto. You can have a full knowledge, but you still don't invest in. And how about there's a possibility, and maybe there's a futures like that. In the futures, everyone using a Bitcoin, and you see it go up, and you keep thinking it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that, but you are forced to believe it. But you just don't buy it because you think it's too high. You keep looking the price going up from maybe a few thousand up to around, maybe I didn't check the price, maybe 38, 37, or sub 40k thousand, and in future go up 100k, 200k, 500k, 1 million, 10 million. You're just looking it go up, and at the end you are forced to use it, because nobody trusts your country's currency, the fiat currency. You either use US dollar, you either use Bitcoin to do transaction in Lightning. So you choose, and you're going to switch. If there's a turning point like that, you have to switch. Yeah. But if there's a possibility, if you foresee there's a possibility like this, zero allocation on Bitcoin is kind of like irresponsible. Even though you see, okay, if I think there's a 0.01% possibility this will happen, then you can allocate 0.01% of the total wealth on this. Yeah, and if you allocate 0% of on the Bitcoin, either you think there's no possibility, or it may due to some technical problem, some bugs, or maybe some inherent flaw in this kind of system. Everyone have their own belief, but here I'm specifically point out and also mention a group of people that they really spend a lot of time studying this, but they still hold their own belief. If you want to talk for most of people, no, they are not going to spend time on this, and because they are the majority, and they just follow the trend. No, follow the trend. They just they just force to accept the trends. And the opportunity have gone. For example, maybe a few decades ago, many people would say, oh, you need to buy properties, you need to buy land. Some people adopt, some people trust it, and try to imagine at that time you can allocate 10% or 5% of your total wealth on property, on land. If you think there's a possibility like that, if you think land is scarce asset, now you think it's just nonsense. It's because it's kind of like 100% true, because you have your history to reference. But at that time, it's not like that. And 10 years ago, people tell you that everyone are using Google, everyone using Facebook, everyone using Amazon, everyone's watching is Netflix. Netflix already replaced all the CD, DVD, VCD producer, and also the firms, and and everyone use Netflix. Everyone use their phones to watch the drama, to watch the video, to watch the movie. And Netflix becomes the digital cinema, becomes the television, becomes the television programs company, the mass media company. And you also can think like the Apple. Apple have their own ecosystem, or maybe a Spotify. Spotify. You don't need to have the CD. You don't need to have the tab anymore. And just think like Google, everyone using it. Maybe Netflix, you don't think so, because we are in a developing country and we're really not sure how it's still. But Facebook, you're very sure. How about Alibaba? You're very, very sure. Of course, there's some issue here, because it's a Chinese company, and the China government can do something on it. It's a huge debate here. And so maybe Amazon, but Amazon is also not very popular in developing country. And what else? But you got lots. You got quite a lot of this kind of top company. maybe Apple, maybe Samsung. Yeah, Samsung.
Microsoft.
Yeah, Microsoft. We use their product every day. So all of these companies, if you invest them 10 years ago, it's already very clear, right? The trend is so clear. And everyone using their product, and no one is going to quit. No one is going to unsubscribe the product. And 10 years ago is 2010 or 2012. Still early. Still very, very early. Yeah. But why the people who start investing, or who already have many years of investing experience, before that, they don't see it, they don't do it. This is so easy. And you look at 90% of the investor in the market, they keep doing the same thing. They pick the stock, and then they cut loss because the price dropped. Then they pick another stock, then they cut loss, then they pick another stock. So 90% of the investors just lose money. But you can be the person who just invests in the index, and you can earn 7 to 8% of market returns, which is market returns. Yeah. Compound interest rate. You beat 90+% of people, and you even beat 90+% of experts, which is the mutual fund managers, the active mutual funds manager. They underperform the markets. You become the expert of the experts if you just do one thing, invest into the markets. Yeah, of course, not all markets worth to invest. But is it so difficult to see the reality? Yeah, all of the top company in US, all of the great company want to go public, want to go IPO on US. Yeah, in US. So is it so difficult to come out this conclusion? Yeah, stop invest in your home country index. Stop invest in your home country stock market. It's not going to work. All money will just flow to US. And this also links to one of the other things, which is the Michael Saylor quote. US dollar will just get stronger and stronger, and other developing and even some developed countries, their fiat currency will just get weaker and weaker. It's true. No matter Bitcoin success or not. It's just a truth. Of course, you have some exemptions, which is maybe some certain country, maybe like maybe it's India, yeah, can do great. China, not sure about their stock market, because China governments keep manipulate the capital, have a strict control over the capital. Yeah, so the stock markets, China government can say something and kind of like nationalize the whole corporation, even though it can big as like Alibaba or big as like the Tencent. It can total nationalize the corporation. So there's a lot of uncertainty here. So yeah, all these things, don't you think it's not difficult to come out the conclusion? It's not difficult to come out. This is one of the way of doing things. But why make you don't try? Are you taking it too seriously? So what's the bias you have? Yeah. For example, is it put like $10 every month into the SP fund is so difficult? Is it dollar cost averaging like $10 every month into Bitcoin is so difficult? My girlfriend start from 10 ringgit. Yeah, what a big deal if you lose 10 ringgit per month. Is it a big deal?
Yeah.
No, right?
Yeah.
So why people don't start to do investments?
Mm.
Yeah, I agree. Not everyone need to do investments. But if there's a free lunch, like the free money allow you to grab, you can invest in the market SP 500. Why don't you try? Why don't you 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 try to learn some and put some money inside? Mm. People really couldn't like articulate the compound interest rate effect, and also the exponential growth rate. They couldn't really articulate the concept. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
So yeah. So I think this is something like it can link to another concept, which is open-minded, or kind of like allow you to have more options. You don't need to restrict yourself into a one direction. You try to explore yourself and try to see some new options, new possibilities. This is
Yeah.
also linked to this topic. Yeah, live life as experiments.
Yeah. I really like open-minded. For diets also, right? Carnivore diets, you need to firstly open your mind first to accept something new so that you can learn more about that and decide whether you want to try it.
And it's not just easy to overcome it, because it's not just something new. It is totally conflict to your current knowledge, to your current belief system.
Yeah.
If this is just something new, and it will be easier, but it's in a total conflict, right? Total conflict.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. You can compare side by side. It's really a total conflict.
Yeah. And for many doctors who recommend carnivore diets, actually they are quite brave, right? Because
Really,
there are
really.
some probability that they will be criticized. They bear some responsibility.
Yeah, and they are skin in the game.
Yeah.
They do this for they do this also.
Yeah.
And you look at their body shape. I think you look at in average the people who do carnivore diet, ketogenic diets, their body shape overall is better than the doctor who recommends vegan diets or normal diet.
Yeah.
And yeah, I listened to some podcasts. I think a few weeks ago. It's like the doctor. Okay, there are two things. The first thing is the doctor practice, and then the second is self-controlling abilities. I mentioned the first one, the doctor practice. And in Western country, you go to see a doctor and try to get some advice from them, how to maintain a good body shape,
Okay.
how to change your body shape. And the doctor themselves is obese, and then they advise you how to maintain, how to get a good body shape. They themselves is obese also. So this is the first thing. And then the second is self-controlling ability. A doctor is a very, very profession's job, right? They need to study really, really hard, and they are smart, they're intelligent. You can think they have a overall greater critical thinking, problem solving skill, and also they have high level of meta connections. They have a higher level of awareness than other groups of people. They went to a medical school, and then they compete. They compete with fellow students, and then they get the license. I mean, so they graduate, and then they graduate from the school, and then they need to go to hospital, and they have like their first year, second year, third year, right? The practice in order to get the qualification. Like maybe they need like 3 years of experience plus the certificate, and then they can apply a license to become a doctor.
Yeah.
This is so difficult, yeah, compared to many other jobs. And this kind of people, they have really, you can't say they have low level of self-controlling ability. No. Yeah, a person who have low self-controlling ability, they can't do this.
Sure.
They can't achieve all of this. Of course, you may say they have formed a habit. Yeah, but they can aware a bad habit and then can change it. They still require some self-controlling ability to change their bad habit. Otherwise, in these 10 years or 20 years, they still just fail. They just cannot be determined to get the doctor license. There are so many variables can make them fail, can make them give up everything and go try some job. And this is a high stress industry. Yeah.
Yeah.
They need to stay up late when they're in hospital. Yeah. And why this group of people, they themselves can become obese, can get an obesity. They have so high level of self-controlling ability, and they are doctor. They know about how important is health. Why these group of people, they can be obese? Just couldn't believe. So maybe it's not related to the self-controlling ability. Maybe it's because of the information they receive and they truly believe. Like eat less animal proteins and eat more plants, do some other thing to get you healthy. But how can they become obese if this is correct? I didn't say this is false. I didn't say this is wrong, but something wrong. Definitely something wrong here. And also you cannot underestimate something which is about the craving. If you eat vegan diets and you can't sustain because you keep wanting to eat the processed food, to eat some sugar, to eat some snacks, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but if you think plant-based food is good for you, why don't you try? Link back to our topic. Live life as an experiment. Try. After try, then you know. If it's work for you, then good. Congratulations. You'll find a way.
Yeah.
But if you just sit on your seat, sit on your chair, and keep thinking, whether I should try. Yeah, keto seems like so dangerous. Vegans seems like so complicated, so difficult, and I worry about some vitamin deficiency. Does it mean that I need to buy more supplements, vitamins, mineral, and it increase my cost? Yeah, I better stick with my normal diet. And what's the point? You read so many books. What is the point? You read so many articles, study so much about the diets.
Yeah.
No point, right? Yeah. So at least you try something, I would say.
Yeah. Okay, so just a little bit about just now you talk about investment. For that one, because investment, I think that is a long process, right?
Mm.
So if you like want to invest and then to use your own experience to find out something, to prove something, I think with our limited lifespan, uh, that isn't a good move, right? We need to like we can refer to like the history in the past and then uh, to to predict instead of like to try by your own maybe for 10 years 20 years and then
Okay.
only that you change your method.
Okay. I think you have some confusion here about
Mm,
the experiments. Experiments doesn't mean that you own zero knowledge and then you try something, right? I start
yeah.
carnivore diet is an experiment, but it doesn't mean that I studied zero and I
Mm,
just go straight in. No, right?
yeah.
Investment are the same. You see some strategy, you think, you understand, you try to you try to grab the concept, and then you think it's going to work
Mm,
because it sounds great and
yeah.
also it sounds logic, and then you try it, right?
Mm,
And if you interested in crypto, then you study, and then maybe you can put in a little bit money, and then it forces you to study because you are skilled in the game, and then you study more.
mm,
But if you have never heard about Bitcoin, you would just think this is kind of like the Ponzi schemes, mm. and you're not going to invest in
yep.
because you you don't have any understanding about it. And I believe I mentioned this in the annual review, the investment annual review. I think I say that one of the most not one of the most important thing, but the most important thing I learned within the years is understanding. Understanding really, really important. It's not one of the most important thing, but the most important thing. Yeah, understanding. Yeah. So
Mm,
if you put a priority, whether experiment is more important or understanding is more important, understanding is more important.
mm,
Just like critical thinking is more important than problem solving. You can see understanding is kind of like related to thinking, to critical thinking. And experiment is kind of like related to taking action,
yep.
try and error. So this is a problem solving.
Mm,
Mm, yeah.
yep.
So does it solve your your question?
Yeah, it did. Which is like we need to, yeah, for example, investment, we need to understand before we start to invest, right?
Mm,
Uh, we need to do according to what we believe most, I think, at at the moment, what
mm,
we understand already. Maybe you still
yeah.
can improve, but you need to do something you believe instead of
Mm,
you do something that you don't really know what it will become, and then you try it, and then you get a fail, a loss, and then you try again.
yeah.
That is not wise,
Mm,
right?
yeah. And you need to be careful not drop into. You need to be careful to not drop into. To not fall into the trap, which is perfectionism.
Mm. To wait until I
You
am
couldn't
perfect enough.
you couldn't have a perfect understanding.
Mm.
You just couldn't have that. You have a basic understanding, allow you to try, you go try. You have a basic understanding how the stock market work and why it's going to work. And you understand the market, you understand the free market, you understand the countries, the US, you understand the
Mm.
technology, you understand the nature, you understand the history. You compare every other asset class, and stock market outperform every other market by order of magnitude. It's not just 1 or 2%. It's not just 10 or 20%.
Mm.
Yeah, it's more than 100%. Yeah. So they must have some reasons. And are you willing to trust it? This is also a past result. But how about you think about the goal? Can it grow infinity? How about the land? How about price of a property? It should just sit there. Can it grow infinity? But how about the stock market? The stock market related to the company, related to the economies. As long as the economy keep growing, as long as our world become better and better, stock market just going up. Yeah, if based on this kind of premise, this is the basic understanding, and it already allow you to invest in markets, invest in SP 500 or QQQ. Right? So is it so difficult to understand this? Is it difficult to understand this? I agree. But is it so difficult to get this kind of information? No, I will say no. Dollar cost averaging, is it difficult to access this information? Yeah, a random guy will tell you this. You watch some random video on YouTube, you came across these terms, this DCA, dollar cost averaging, but it's difficult to understand the implication. Thus, you can have a basic understanding, very, very basic, and then you think, okay, it's going to work. Then you go try it, right? And then at the same time you are trying, you also can increase your understanding. And when your understanding increase, your convictions increase, your belief increase.
Yeah.
Yeah, it apply on every other thing, not only in investment.
Right, understanding. Okay, so yeah, beside these, any other things you want to talk about? Because I have covered all of the point that I want to say.
Yeah, I think one small thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Which is the method mentioned in this article, which should appeal to people's generosities. And yeah, this is really agreed. And for me, I have never thought about this to kind of like leverage people empathy, people generosity for my advantage. But I always have a mindset. Which I want to achieve a win-win situation. And I always tell the truth, and I always try to be transparent. And if I found a bug, a problems, maybe in a contract, and I like to, yeah, even though it's not favor to me, I mean, the contract terms is wrongly constructed, but it favor to me, but it make it unclear. Yeah, if the contract has a bug, it make it unclear. And then I will tell the counterparty, yeah, you see, this part is so unclear. Yeah, why not we make it more clear? And what you really want on this? Yeah, I will tell them what I want. I just, for example, like okay, let's say for example, okay, let's say for example a job. Okay, let's say for example a job, and then your company agree to give you like the bonus. Okay, and verbally your boss tell you it will give you 2 months bonus.
Yeah.
Okay, and when you sign, when you decide to sign on the contract, okay, and then you found out, okay, there's the terms here. Okay, the bonus will distribute on a yearly basis at the end of like in which month, something like that. But it didn't mention 2 months, or it didn't mention 1 month, or it didn't mention 0.5 months.
Yep.
So I will ask my boss, why don't we make it clear? Yeah. Of course, this example seems like a favor to me, which is, yeah, this example is kind of like favor to me, but you can think another example. For example, like you need to give notice, right? Both of the party need to give notice. Yeah. What if the company only mention like, okay, you need to give a notice before leave?
Yeah.
But maybe you can raise it. Okay, what do you mean give notice? 1 month? Yeah, or 2 months? Yeah, you need to specifically mention, make it clear. Another example, for example, you borrow money, you lend money. Yeah, let's say I borrow money from others, and then yeah, if I want to have the terms, I want people to feel safe. I want to make the contract clear. For example, I borrow money, I will give you 3% interest rate, and maybe some terms is after 6 months I will pay back you money. But you cannot ask the money from me within 6 months. Yeah, and putting this kind of terms actually give you some burden because you really have to pay back the money after 6 months, right? Yeah. But I want to make it clear because I want to achieve win-win situation. I can kind of like leverage this unclear contract and then keep delay the paying, right? But I just don't want. So it's not only about the contract, it's not only about the terms. It applies in so many ways. Apply in your relationship, apply in many other aspects. I want to achieve win-win situation. I don't want people to get worse when they cooperate with me, when they work together with me, because it's not sustainable. So this is my understanding. And I didn't think about, actually the author take a further leap. Yeah. You not only agree people's power, okay, you can utilize, you can leverage that power. Yeah, and give you one example, one of my boss like to exert her power to ask somebody to do things, and people really don't like it. Yeah, of course they do, because they are boss, she boss, and but staff don't like her. But another boss, kind of like, he'll also ask you to do something, but he will like kind of like, can you help me to do this thing? Yeah, can you help me to check all these things? They kind of like using like she kind of like quote unquote request you to help.
Not instruct.
Yeah, but actually verbally she's also very confident. Yeah, she's also very confident. She's not like really like beg you to do something. No. Yeah, it's just about the
way
wording.
she communicate, right?
Yeah, the wording, and also how she say out the sentence. Yeah, but this make people feel better. Yeah. So even though you have the power, you can also try to make people happy and respect people. I think it maybe in this article, or in this author, or maybe in this the writer previous article, there's a link here. There's a link in the article which link to his previous article, which specifically mentioned this method. Yeah. And so yeah, so I think, yeah. And also what I learned from it is, the first one, you need to be honest, you need to be transparent, and also you need to be confident. You see the example that you ask for 20% of discount. You really need to have the confidence to try to do those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Mm.
really believe that. You really have the confidence that you should receive this kind of this kind of like privilege. Yeah. Otherwise, you are not going to do this. The people who yell, the people who score people, they have no confidence in their behavior.
Yep.
Yeah. And also, the last thing is communicate, not keep silence. Yeah. You can communicate. Even though the problem eventually unsolved, at least you communicate. Yeah, at least you confirm that it cannot be solved by using this way. And also, but what if it solves many problems just solved by pure communication, or some arguments, or some misunderstanding, some conflict can be avoided by having just communications. Yeah, and also you can think from another perspective. When you have the communication, it's kind of like you don't need the problem solving. In case futures the problem become bigger and you need to solve. But at the first place, you communicate, and then you make the problem no need to solve. Yeah. But just like I said just now, if you want to leverage or you want to take advantage of others' generosities, it's not going to work forever. Yeah, you can do occasionally for different people. It's a good tactic, but it's not a good strategy for your life. It's a good tactic.
Yeah.
So for me, I still hold my mind, which is I try to achieve win-win situation. But I think it's a good tactic, and maybe I can try in future, because it's just way better than score people, than yelling. Yeah, of course, I also don't do those things. My method is, I give you all the information that I think can help you to make decision, and then you make decision. You see whether you want to waive my fee. If you don't want, then okay. Yeah, if you want, then great. Thank you. Yeah, this is my method in the past. Maybe in future I can try to keep asking, keep demanding. Yeah, whether can give me the waive, whether can give me the exemption. And because in Chinese we also have one old saying, which is the kid who cry get the candies. Yeah. So it's well explained, this old saying, the wisdom.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the technique here is it's a little bit you can see it is a better, it's a higher level, right? The kids that cry, but they don't like forcing somebody, right? They use a soft power, I would say. It is powerful, but it is not a very direct and strong way to force people to something.
But what if you can take the kids who cry to get a candy to another level? You don't make sound, and you don't make trouble to others. You don't make trouble to your parents, but you just cry. You just cry and let them see you crying, and then you can say it's okay. I just feel so sad.
Yeah.
I really want the candy. I
Yeah.
feel so sad.
Yeah, you don't annoy your parents, but you let them see it, right? Let them
Yeah,
see it.
I know you. I mean the mother. I'm kind of like play the role of the kids. I know. Yeah, mother, you always say that we don't have money. Yeah, I know we don't have money. So, but I really want a candy, and I cannot get a candy, and I feel sad. But I know we are poor. We cannot afford this. I just couldn't stop to cry. I'll be okay, something like that. You can do this.
Yeah.
So you can take this to another level. And
yeah, but I think this is only effective and a possible way for dealing with real human. For robot or AI machine, I think they are rational enough to deal with these kind of things, right? Maybe they will focus on win-win, and then or maybe their self-interest. Yeah, but just not this kind of maybe appealing to others' generosity or empathy.
If they can get enough data to analyze whether you will come back and buy more things, and cost and benefit analysis. If they think, okay, the benefit is greater than cost, and then they give you. And if not, then it's not going to give you any discounts.
Yeah, no way. Yeah.
Yeah, but still, even though for the kids who cry to get a candy, it's going to work once or twice. It's not going to work forever. Okay, but the kids who really cry really, really loud, maybe they can get candy every time. You see the point?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it kind of like create a cue, create a trigger on a parent's brain. Every time he cry, I have to stop it down. Otherwise, he or she would just keep crying, and trouble everyone, make me embarrassing. So I had to give them something like that. Of course, for some parents it doesn't work. But for some parents it actually works so well. But it actually in long term, the kids suffer the most. But here we investigate about the tactic, right? We are not investigate whether you get better off in long term or worse in long term. We analyze whether the tactic workable or not. But in this case, you can see it. If you keep yielding, even though you are a company, you are the boss, you have formed a habit, and then you have made a culture that you keep yielding, and ask people to do something, they will follow you. And if you use like kind of like demanding, try to demanding them to do something, try to ask their what is it called, the permission to do something. The next time you require them to do OT, they will cry. They will say, you have changed. Yeah, in the past you don't do this. So yeah, human psychology is not that simple, I would say.
Yeah. Also, when let's say you are with your friend, or maybe you work in your friend's company, then maybe your relationship are closer. Some people will say they don't like this kind of relationship, right? Working with someone who is close because of this, I think, which is if you want to maybe instruct them or maybe not agree with them, it seems like break the relationship. Yeah, sometimes just the instruction is suitable. Sometimes is kind of like the one of the best way to deal in job.
Yeah, and you can tell them, you can communicate. This is a job, so yeah, on job we have to do this for efficiency. But we are still the friend.
Yeah, still
And I always
communication is the key, right?
Yeah. And from my past experience, you instruct them to do this thing, but you can still be friends with them, and they will more respect you. When off work in college like this, they will more respect you.
Yeah.
Okay, so anything want to add in?
Yeah, I think no. How about you?
Okay, yeah, me too.
Okay, talk to you tomorrow. Goodbye, Eric.
Goodbye.